If you're listening to this episode, I bet you're wondering what behaviors you're doing that keep you from getting your needs met and ending up in situationship after situationship. I got you. I've created a situationship quiz and I'm so excited about it. Take the quiz to discover more behaviors and more tips for navigating situationships, because I know you're in more than one right now. No judgment, boo-boo. I used to have 5 situationships at a time. Yes. So you're not alone. You can find the quiz at www.dontea.co/quiz. That's DONTEA.co/quiz. I'll drop it in the show notes as well. Okay, back to the episode. I'm not going to say that life has been smooth sailing ever since I listened to my intuition more. However, what I will say is by doing so, I've made decisions for myself that has greatly reduced the overthinking, the constant sadness, by decisions that felt like they were happening to me, versus now I 9 out of 10 times make decisions that align with my values and happiness. Hi loves, I'm Dontea Mitchell-Hunter, your new fave self-worth therapist, and this is Detox Therapy. Quick note, even though I'm a fully licensed therapist, this show is not a replacement for therapy. If you find yourself needing a therapist, definitely search for one in your area. Now, if you want to work with me though, and you live in Washington, Georgia, or DC, then please go to my website at soireesintherapy.com and book your free 15-minute consultation. Hey loves, I have a question for you. Would you believe me if I said one sure way to find your true happiness is to listen to your intuition? Don't believe me? Let me keep explaining what I mean. When you learn to listen, trust, and follow your intuition, your life becomes more rich, exciting, more easy even. This is all because your intuition is a feeling of knowing without rational processing. Some describe it as a silent knowing, a vibe or vibration that can feel at ease when making a decision, and other times the feeling can feel at war. It may be an immediate physical or physiological sensation that gives you a halt feeling, like, oh, hold on, maybe a turnaround feeling, or even quickly leave, get out of this space feeling. There was a time where I felt my intuition so strongly, I vowed to never question it again and to take more time to listen to it, really. I'll tell you the story. I know you want to know. I'll tell you. Okay, so here it is. I was working for a new job that I believed would save me from all the things I didn't like about higher ed college counseling. Mainly being on call. Like, what? So this job was like the holy grail. I was like, yes, finally. Because this new job didn't have that function. It didn't have the on-call, added on of the job. However, what it did have was a very insecure boss who had never managed someone who wasn't an intern, and frankly, didn't know how to manage, because things would constantly slip through the wide cracks as she changed her mind every day. Anyways, after the first 9 days on the job, I quickly realized this wasn't going to work for me, because her lack of leadership left me liable for anything that would happen on the job site. And that just did not make me feel comfortable at all. So once I decided to leave, I went home and figured out a plan to begin the job search and figure out the actual leave day that would be most beneficial financially for me, right? Like I had to figure out, you just figure out how many days you need to work to make sure you have this much money before you start a new job or during your job search, right? So I had it all, I had a plan that worked best for me. So a few weeks go by and things are just weird in the office, but I ignore it because I've been known to analyze to the 10th degree, right? Like that, I've been told my life, like, you're overanalyzing or you're thinking too much on it, or like, oh, why you're still on that, right? So the next day I come into work like any other day and open my emails. I see a response from her to an email I had sent the day before. And when I go to open the email disappears. Like, oop. So she had retracted the email. Strange, right? I thought so too. So that happened. I felt offended, confused, and really it just confirmed all the shadiness I felt that was happening with her that affected our relationship and everything. So at that very moment, literally, even as I talk about it now, it's like, whew, I can like feel some of this again. At that very moment, my stomach started to feel light. My back felt like thousands of feathers were pushing me forward. And then I swear a silent yet assertive voice said, "Quit today." I thought to myself, what? I can't quit today. My plan doesn't take full effect until a few days from now, and I need every penny of this paycheck. Without even a further moment of processing, my mind cleared and the thought said, it will all be fine. And my body felt light at that exact same time. Now, let me just pause here for a moment. Those who know me know that I am a planner. Like, if I could spend the next, like, I don't even know, 10 hours of my day planning my life over the next 5 years, like, that's the best day ever. Like, I love planning. And it's a part of that's control, right? Like, I get anxious and I don't know what's going to happen. So if I plan for it, this is exactly how it's going to go, right? Like, how many times does that happen? So, I've definitely worked on that over the years, and I'm telling you, there was a time in my life where, planning was everything. So for me, it was a very big deal to just be like, fuck the plan. You're going to quit today in this moment. I know it's 9 a.m. and you're going to quit today, now, right? So of course I tried to push back on that. And I tried to begin like rational processing and say, but like, what did I say? How I pay my bills. My new job doesn't start for another 2.5 months. And I only have like 1 month of savings available. So the sensation that came over me was again, like the sense of ease and a thought of it'll all be fine. Like I would try to go push against it, right? I would try to like start processing and over analyzing and turning every stone, right? And then I just get this sensation like everything's gonna be fine. And my body would be relaxed too. So like when you're tense and you're anxious and, those kind of things are happening, your body's tight. Maybe your shoulders are up to your ears, right? That wasn't happening. It was just like a la, 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 la. Like it was like that. So I feel like I didn't have any other option but to pay attention to it, right? So with all that happening, feeling at ease, the sensation, everything, it threw me fine. I picked up the phone and I called HR and I said, I need to speak to you. Again, this is like literally 9:15 in the a.m. I had been at work for 15 minutes. Once in the HR office, I didn't know exactly what I was going to say, but I knew I had to say something. I needed to know my options pretty much. I needed to know my options, whether I would quit, file a grievance, or something else. Again, the feather push now started to formulate words in my mouth. Like it was just coming out. And as I was trying to explain what was going on, I just said, I just let go. And I said, I want to quit. I just don't know how to. HR said, you just say it. So I did. And that's when HR grabbed a file that had a typed up letter signed by my boss and the HR officer that read, "This letter is to inform you of your termination effective immediately." The date the letter was scheduled to be delivered to me was the following day. The following day. So that means if I wouldn't have listened to my intuition that said to quit and it will all be fine, I would have come into work the next day and would have received a letter of termination. I've never been fired before. And this would have come as a total shock. Like me being fired for whatever reason. So, actually, now that I think about it, I didn't initially plan on quitting until 6 weeks from that date. So everything was just, I was like, what? Right? Like, what? So, yes. So that is my intuition story. Everything worked out for me by listening and not questioning, right? From that moment, I decided I will do whatever I have to do to make sure, number one, make sure I will always have enough in savings. And I don't mean like, okay, you got to have 10 grand in your savings. I mean like, what is the bare minimum that I need to get by on this offer 1 month? Bare minimums. Turn off subscriptions, tell the cable company I'll, pay it next month, whatever. Like what are those basic bare bone minimums? I really got serious about starting my own business. And most importantly, listen to my intuition. I did it more. It became more of a practice for me ever since that moment in my life. I'm not going to say that life has been smooth sailing ever since I listened to my intuition more. However, what I will say is by doing so, I've made decisions for myself that has greatly reduced the overthinking, the constant sadness, by decisions that felt like they were happening to me versus now I 9 out of 10 times make decisions that align with my values and happiness. And when you are more aligned with what serves you best, you will have more happiness in your life. Okay. So back to the question at hand, right? So how to know your truth and trust your intuition. I want you to start thinking about these questions. So how many times have you felt your intuition? I want you to think about that. Do you know what it feels like to experience your intuition? Think about that too. What does that feel like? Again, for me, it feels like an energy is wrapped around me and the possibility to overanalyze is suspended. How many times have you ignored your intuition? Think about that too. I want you to practice listening to your intuition more and see where it takes you. No need to talk yourself out of what your body is saying is best for you. There's no need to do that. If your body's really telling you and connecting with you, no, that's not a good idea, or yes, it's a good idea, do it, go with that. Go with it. This will also help you decrease symptoms of anxiety because you won't be constantly over functioning to make a decision. Instead, you will feel the intuition and move forward with it. Does that make sense? You might be wondering, but how do I find my truth? Your truth comes from when you are aligned with your values, when you are getting your needs met. All of that makes up your truth. When you are being honest, vulnerable, and whole. Right? There's more that can be said about that. I just want to give just more concise definitions around this to get you started. Okay. So to recap, right? First, identify what intuition feels like. If you don't know, think about a time when you remember getting a strong sensation that made a decision feel very clear without question. Maybe which college to go to, or this apartment or that apartment, or which shoes to buy, or which gift to buy, or what to say to this person, right? Secondly, go with the direction it is telling you. Third, pay attention to how you feel after you've made the decision. Do you feel all in knots? Do you feel like you have no worry in sight? Do you feel like you're sitting on clouds? And lastly, when you are faced with a hard decision, find a quiet place, close your eyes, and ask your intuition what to do, and really try to listen to it. I know this sounds a little kooky, however, give it a try. We move so fast in this world that we are constantly making unbaked decisions. And a lot of times those decisions aren't coming from us. They are coming from society, family, or even the influence of friends. So take the time for yourself to continue to make the best decisions for yourself that will lead you further into a happier life and your truth. Okay. Did you get all of that? You got this. And if you find yourself getting stuck, reach out to me or send a DM. Until next time, bye. I feel like I should say namaste because that was a lot. Thank you, loves, for listening to this week's episode. If you're enjoying the show, it'd be really great if you could please rate and review. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Soirees in Therapy. To learn more about the services I offer, visit soireesintherapy.com. If you've got a question you'd like me to answer, please send your question to Dantea at soireesintherapy.com. The answer might just become an episode.